good, the bad, and the odd. What a lovely day.
Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Odd. We're your hosts, Mark and Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hello.
So today we're diving back into the MCU, and I was trying to figure out, have we done all the MCU? There's a couple of films we haven't done, but most we kind of done. But this is like the latest offering, really. It's the Eternals. It's the Eternals. I have to say, when I saw the trailers for this at the cinema, I was completely not interested. The trailers made it look terrible. Absolutely terrible. I don't know what it was. It was like, I don't know those people. I don't care about that. You know, it was a bit like that.
Yeah.
And it's the 26th film in the MCU, which I didn't realise there was that many. I think it was like the 23rd, 4th, something like that. Interesting choice of directed by Chloe Zhao. I might be saying that wrong, but I believe she directed Nomadland, which I have seen, and I thought it was an okay film, but I just do not see how someone saw that and thought, you know what, we need this person in the Marvel Universe. I don't quite have that, see how that gels, but so, and she also co-wrote the screenplay with three other writers, Patrick Burley, Ryan Firpo, and Kaz Firpo. Now, this is based on like not particularly famous Marvel franchise, I understand. It didn't particularly succeed or anything, though I think Neil Gaiman had a bit of a go of it with some success. But it's not got that many issues, right? It's not got that many issues. And it's an interesting choice, I thought. What was your... I mean, we'll get into more spoilers when we talk plot, really. But honestly, I don't think it matters that much if you're... You know, I don't think anyone's going to have, wow, I didn't know, you know, I wish that hadn't been spoiled for me if we sort of tell them something that they then go on to see, because it's not that kind of film. It's more of an epic spectacle kind of film than a story and, you know, twists and turns. What did you generally think?
I wasn't a huge fan of this film.
Did you not like it? I thought it was okay. I thought it was quite a departure, maybe necessary in a good way. I liked its ambition and I liked its scope. And I actually thought the casting was pretty good. All the characters were quite distinct, but there was a lot of weird kind of semi-world building that really didn't need to be there. I don't think, and stuff like that. So we're going to get into it. So spoilers from this point. Right, okay. So let's just talk about the cast first. So we have Richard Madden as Icarus, who kind of kept reminding me of Homelander from The Boys, actually, the way he moved, his powers, not necessarily in his personality, but he had that vibe to him. And we get various other characters. I'm sorry, I cannot remember the character names, so you're going to kind of...
all of them are vaguely sound like some sort of mythological character or god sort of thing. So we have Icarus.
Icarus is the one we talk about.
Gilgamesh was the most up front. That's just the guy, the same name
That's
as
just
the character.
Gilgamesh.
We have Fina. We had
Druid,
Hephaestus,
who sounds a bit like Druid.
Yeah.
Phastos.
We had Phastos, which was Hephaestus. Makari, which is Mercury. Circe, which is Circe. It's spelled different.
Kingo,
I don't know. Ajax is Ajax. Athena is Athena, so yeah.
Ajax was a woman though, right? So Ajax is a man in Greek mythology.
Yeah.
Ajax was a woman. And I felt there were, you know, at first all those names being thrown around, it was like, what's going on? But you kind of grew into it, and you know, it starts 5000 BC. It's quite epic.
Yeah.
And it keeps going from modern day to back in the history. So it's almost a Highlander kind of vibe in that modern day is the touchstone to like just flashbacks to things that happened in the past that got them there, right? So these guys we find out have been sent to Earth by another being, a Celestial. Now I'm a bit confused. Celestials are Marvel. Is Kurt Russell a Celestial in?
Kurt Russell, yeah. Okay, so the character of Ego in the comics is not a Celestial, but he's been named a Celestial in this. Yeah. Celestials have been brought up a couple of other times, so I think the Grandmaster, Jeff Goldblum's character, was one as well.
Is he? Oh, amazing.
But also there's like a place in Guardians of the Galaxy that's the hollowed out skull of a Celestial.
So, okay. Amazing. So Celestials are massive beings, or not if they're Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
With like weird 6 eyes or holes in their face for eye. I don't know. But basically, they've been sent to these guys. This crew we've been talking about. I've been sent to Earth by their boss, who is a Celestial called Arishem, and they got one job: to exterminate these weird CGI creatures called the Deviants. And they have to start a human history otherwise, which is how they explain how they never got involved with Thanos turned up or in World Wars or anything like that. And they got this big slabby starship called the Domo.
I'm kind of annoyed at the influence 2001: A Space Odyssey has. Everything's just like sheer angular shape.
There is a lot of 2001 in this.
It's a circle. It's in everything. Everything is like this. So.
Yeah, they are stylistically taken from 2001 quite deliberately, and do a reasonably good job of capturing that vibe actually in those lingering shots of spaceships, which aren't too lingering. They're okay. But they're going backwards and forwards. I like the fact that one of the main settings at the beginning is one of my favourite buildings in the world, the British Natural History Museum in London. That's kind of cool.
Which they weirdly present as a school.
Yeah, they have kids doing lessons. Now, I believe if you're on a school trip, you do go in and do activities, but it's not a school. Yeah. It's for activity time when you're visiting the museum, right? We find out one of them, Cersei, had a relationship with Icarus, but Icarus disappeared at a certain point where all the deviants, they thought they'd wiped out all the deviants, and we do find out, and this goes backwards and forwards, and we're going to be a little more linear here when we describe it. This goes back and forth, but we do find out eventually that they destroy they think they destroy all the deviants about 1521. And then are told by the leader on Earth is the only one who can talk to Arishem, which is Ajak, who's Selma Hayek, who's really good in this. That they can now go their own ways and make a life among the humans, because they're not immortal, but they live a very long time.
They're immortal unless killed. So
yeah, we do find out they're not even humans, though, right? They're like replicant angels.
They're not biological. They're like weird robots.
Oh, I thought they were kind of biological, but still constructed. Right?
I'm not sure. It's really
they're I think of them more like replicants than robots, actually.
That's probably close.
And they've got magic powers too, right?
Yeah.
So the magic powers: Ajak can heal. Cersei can turn things.
She can
into
change
things.
the properties of an item.
Icarus is kind of like Superman. He's strong. He can fly. He
Me and my
fires
friend
lasers.
we were talking about. We were talking about this. It's like, okay, so there's one that can shoot lasers. There's one that can move super speed. There's one that has super strength, and then there's Icarus, who just has all of the powers. So
yeah. We also have Kingo, who can like.
Kingo, I think, was my favorite character.
Yeah, Kingo was great. That's guy's played by Kamal Nanjiani, who I used to listen to a lot. He had a podcast called The X-Files Files, and he was really fun. And he's an American Pakistan comedian, right?
Yeah.
And he was really fun on that, and he had like enough clout in Hollywood to get quite good interviews. I think he had Gillian Anderson on, and I think he even ended up doing a guest appearance in the later rebooted X-Files. I think he was in one of the episodes, but he's the real find for me in this show. In this film, he was the real find. He was the really interesting character. Though I kind of liked a lot of the characters. Having said that, I quite like
the only one that really addressed the immortality aspect of it, kind of.
Yes, it did in a funny way.
Yes,
we'll get to that.
Yeah,
we get Sprite, who can kind of both shape shift or take on the guys
it's all
and
illusions.
change things.
It's all just illusions.
You're right,
she can't shapeshift herself.
Fastos is a guy who's also kind of strong, but also is like a genius with like machinery and invention.
He's a technopath.
Makari is speed, but she can't talk, but she signs.
Yeah.
We get Druig, who I thought was a really interesting character, quite an unusual character in the MCU. He could basically possess people and take over people.
Yeah, he's got really powerful mind control.
Yeah, so him and Phastos between them implant ideas for technology in humans to aid in the evolutionary process. And one of their jobs, the only way they can interfere, well, they say they can't interfere with human thing, but they do interfere.
They can kind of drip feed in information.
Yeah. And we see in early days Bakari saying, right, so here's a steam engine. This will be interesting. They said, no, that's way too advanced for this current level. And he comes up with the plow instead. Yeah. It's kind of that level. And then we also get Thena, who is Angelina Jolie, really quite good as like a warrior goddess.
Yeah.
A bit Wonder Woman, really. But she's also suffering from something they call mad weary, which is something about when you've lived long enough, you start going nuts.
They can't forget, so they just sort of, their mind gets overloaded by the sheer amount of memories that they have.
And that made me think a bit of the vampires in the Anne Rice universe. As they get older, they get less and less attached to humanity and more isolating, and it made me kind of think of that. But she goes nuts. Cersei starts a relationship with this bloke who Dane Whitman.
Yeah.
Now this is interesting because Icarus is played by Richard Madden, who is from Game of Thrones, and Dane Whitman is played by
Kit Harington.
Kit Harington is also from Game of Thrones, but he's in it way less. He's in it way less.
Like the entire time me and my friend, we were watching this and just going, where's Jon Snow gone? Like, come on.
He knows nothing. He knows nothing.
No, it's more a case of he would have been a perfect fish out of water character for them to explain stuff to.
Yeah.
If they needed to do any exposition at all, he's right there and they can just tell him stuff.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. Good point. Because Cersei, basically, we also find out Cersei had a relationship with Icarus. They were the only lovers of the troupe.
Yeah.
But when Icarus either disappeared or died in 1521, she kind of eventually moved on and she started a relationship with Kit Harington's character, Dane Whitman. But meanwhile, she and is it Sprite are walking around and a deviant.
Sprite and Dane Whitman.
Yeah.
Kit Harington are walking around and a deviant attacks them. First one they've seen.
And doesn't she tell Dane Whitman about herself before this? Because he starts saying, "Are you like a wizard? Then can you turn me into a giraffe?" Things like that. But then this deviant turns up.
From what he says, Sprite was the one that was telling him.
Okay. Sprite was just telling him.
Yeah.
So they do get attacked by a deviant who is like the senior deviant. I think his name's Crow, but that's not revealed at this point. So actually, at that point, Icarus turns back up. Because he's been in hiding almost, unless a deviant turns up. But he manages to hear or detect this deviant, and he comes in and sort of saves the day. And then they're worried about the deviants returning, so they travel to the place where Ajax should be and find her lying dead. Yeah. And then we find.
But also, the deviant had the powers to heal, similar to.
Oh, that's right. It healed itself,
which is kind of talk.
Which is Ajax's power, right?
Yeah.
So when they find her dead, they think somehow it's absorbed her power. And we find out either Ajax or Arishem, I wasn't sure about this, choose Cersei as the replacement leader.
Is Ajax. They specifically
Ajax. It's Ajax. Which is interesting because it's clear that Icarus is the alpha.
Yeah, he's the one that
he's got all the powers, right?
Yeah.
But Cersei is chosen, and she's kind of confused why this is. So Cersei then talks to Arishem, and they find out the mission wasn't just to protect her from the deviants, because the deviants are kind of...
Deviants are an earlier stage of the Eternals.
Are they?
It's another creation of the Celestials.
Okay.
They put them there to kill any apex predators so that intelligent life can develop.
Yeah, so we find out the deviants are there to help the evolution of the race.
Yeah, which doesn't make sense because apex predators tend to become the intelligent things. So it's silly, but the Eternals fight. The idea is that the deviants go around, cultivate the world a bit. The Eternals come along, kill the deviants, and then the world itself consumes the energy, and births a new Celestial, destroying the world itself.
Which destroys the world. Now, I was confused about this bit because essentially what they were saying is a birth of a Celestial destroys a world, but they were also going on about the fact that this birth of this Celestial creates billions of other worlds, and I didn't get that.
Well,
they just came out of left field.
Asher does say that they make the Celestials make stars, so the planets they make beyond that would be billions of lives.
Oh, I see. I kind of get it. Anyway,
it's basically the future debate. It's like, well, we can stop it and a few people will survive, or we can let it happen and a lot more people will be born.
Yeah. It's one of those. And they talk about this emergence where this new Celestial will be born, and they name him. I'm trying to remember. I will come on to the Tiamat, that's it. So they talk about Tiamat. So they've been planting these seeds everywhere, but the deviants have started to evolve, and they shouldn't have, which means they're kind of learning things. And can absorb things too from some.
Yeah, they gain properties of the stuff that they eat. So they in this case, what has consumed Ajax's power and gained her power of healing.
Yeah. So Cersei's not sure about all this, and basically it becomes a getting the band back together kind of thing. They go find Druig in the Amazon where he's mind controlling people to do all this constructive stuff. But there they get attacked by deviants, quite a few deviants.
Yeah,
as well.
Multiple ones.
But they also we have Gilgamesh, who's like. I thought this was Benedict Wong at first, but it isn't.
No,
it is a Benedict
it's a different guy.
It's different guy. Good though. I liked him. He was good.
They basically the film kind of becomes let's get the band back together sort of thing. But every single interaction is always, hey guys, haha, let's do some goofy stuff. Ajax is dead. Oh no. Oh
yeah,
no.
There was a lot.
It becomes that like several times in a row. Like you do it for Kingo, then you do it for Gilgamesh and Thena, then you do it again for Phastos.
Yeah,
it just keeps going.
So they do get this bigger fight at Druig's place, who do kill Gilgamesh and put that away.
The same deviant who had the healing powers also gets Gilgamesh's
strength,
boxing powers.
Yeah, so. He's got almost like special fists, isn't he? Where it just hits really hard.
Yeah.
And so this beast, I have to say, my favourite getting back to the moment was Kingo, because we basically get a Bollywood sort of song and dance, because he's a Bollywood star, and we find out he's been presenting himself as his own son through decades and decades of Bollywood films. So he's been this Bollywood star for like 100 years, and he just pretends he's the son of himself. And it's kind of funny. And he's got this valet who they refer to as... There is some references to DC in this film. Did you notice that? They talk about, like Alfred Superman from Batman. And at one point, some kid goes to Icarus, hey, you're Batman.
No, he goes, you're Superman.
You're Superman.
Yeah.
So it's like, what? And they even actually talk about, why didn't you turn up when Thanos was here? And then they have a debate. Who should lead the Avengers? And they actually say to Icarus, you'd make a good leader. So I don't know if that's...
No, Icarus goes, well, I could lead them, and everyone laughs at them.
So, oh, okay. It's like that, is it? And so there's a bit of talk about the Avengers and stuff. But yeah, Kingo is great, and his valet is great too. He's like an old...
His valet is like perpetually trying to film
what's going on.
Kingo wants to make a documentary about the Eternals to explain what's going on.
Yeah. So. But we do also find out when they all get together, and Icarus is like, I'm not the man you think I am, and all this.
Yeah.
And we find out he knew about the emergence at the same time that Ajax found out. Those two found... No,
Ajax always knew.
Ajax always knew.
Being on Earth changed their mind slowly. So...
Yeah. So we also then find out, right, that Icarus was the one who killed Ajax.
Yeah.
Basically.
He basically fed her to the deviants.
He left it to him because he doesn't want to stop the emergence, because he wants to follow what Arishem says. And there's this big old discussion about who should we save humanity? Should we do what Arishem tells us, because that's what we're meant to? Also, I have to mention at certain points, Thena goes nuts and has to be kind of controlled. Is it Gilgamesh helps.
Gilgamesh was, because he was like the toughest guy and could weather any damage. He was the one that was looking after her.
Yeah.
But eventually, it basically comes to that instead of being like their brains are overloading, it's the Eternals are getting their minds wiped every single time they go to a new planet. And she's just remembering the previous times.
That's it. So the memory was failed to be wiped properly, right? Yeah. So again, they're synthetic beings, right? That are being reused. So there's a touch of that. So Icarus storms off. Sprite follows him because Sprite is actually in love with him. Now she's a young girl, but
she looks 12.
Hates being a young girl. Which is an interesting dynamic, not well explored, but interesting. It reminded me again of Anne Rice, because there's a character in Interview with a Vampire called Claudia in the film, played by Kirsten Dunst, who was made a vampire by the vampire Lestat when she was like 10 or 11. Which meant she was always going to be a child, and she hated that after centuries of it. But she was also the most fearsome predator of all of them because she had no inhibitions or development of a conscience or anything like that. So she was an interesting one, was Claudia, in that, and Sprite kind of reminded me of that vibe. And Kingo also says, look, I'm not getting it. I'm not going to try and stop it. We should not try and stop this, but I'm not going to fight against you either. He just wants to leave.
Kingo goes out neutrally. So
I quite like some of the interactions there with Kingo and his valet, because his valet says it was a privilege to know you, and it's quite a touching moment. I know it's not a great film, but there are some quite nice character moments, I thought. So they figure out that the emergency is this volcano in the Indian Ocean,
and they also have a vague plan to like either put the Eternal back to sleep using all of their powers to supercharge Druig, who can mind control it.
Yeah.
Theoretically, he'd be able to mind control it. Yeah. Or, if needs be, they're going to use Cersei, who recently discovered that she can affect living matter.
She does turn one of the deviants into a tree, doesn't she?
So they figure, like, if we can't mind control him back to sleep, we can kill him by turning him into something not alive.
Yeah. There was one reference that also made me laugh where was it Athena was talking about swords, and she gets a sword at one point, and they're talking about it's the Black Blade or something like that, and she goes, yes, Excalibur.
She just says, is that Excalibur? Yeah, and they just pass it off.
And also, they say, Arthur had a thing about you, didn't he? And it was all that. Yeah. That made me laugh. And also Fastos, the technology-minded one, comes up with this Unimind idea to unite their minds. Yeah. They go, well, that's a terrible...
Fastos is the techno one.
Yeah. So. Did I say that?
You said the fast one.
Oh, no, Fastos is the technologically minded one, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So there's that. There's basically a big CG battle, which was okay, Yeah. There's it
was a lot of... something I do enjoy in various superheroes or any sort of like fantastical thing is when characters are just characters with the weak power the power that seems weak are able to like dominate just through smart use.
Yeah.
And in this case, Fastos, who's basically just an engineer, is able to pin down Icarus just by like manipulating metal in the air and just keep like dragging him down to the ground and blocking all his attacks.
Yeah, and Makari also helps.
Yeah, Makari wrecks him.
She's so fast that Icarus can't deal with her. There is that.
And there's the honestly hilarious bit where they're basically Druig gets taken out and it's left with Sprite and Cersei arguing of what to do. And
Sprite, right?
Sprite starts this huge things like, we can just end it, we can just stop this, and Druig appears behind her and brains her with a rock, and that's how they win the day.
And but he says something like nice speech or something like that.
It's like nice speech, but they can't do their superpower thing, and the Eternal is emerging from it.
Yeah.
In this case, the hand of the Eternal starts to come out under the island they're in.
Yeah, and I remember watching that, looking at rocks coming out, and I was like, that looks a bit like a hand. And then it was a hand, right? It was a hand.
And so Cersei's now stood on it, and she can feel, she turns it to marble or some sort of white rock.
Yeah.
So she kills this Eternal.
Yeah. It's, So that is kind of the end of the film, though. We do get some other business at the end, but
there's
that's essentially the end.
Because she's still got her power, she turns Sprite into a human. And,
so it's a bit Peter Pan, right?
Yeah, Icarus flies into the sun, because of course he does.
I was a little unclear what Icarus was up to. I think
he was committing suicide.
Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. So they all fly off in the spaceship, right?
Yeah, so some of them fly off in the spaceship.
Some say, right? Yeah.
I think it's Athena. It's Athena, Makari, and Druig fly off in the spaceship. They just leave. The Phastos, Kingo, and Cersei stay as Eternals. Sprite gets turned into a human.
And there's also some talk that they're going to go off and find other Eternals and explain what Arishem has been doing, seeing if they can persuade people. And then it ends, and then there's a mid-credit sequence where a troll, Pip the Troll, who's a bit Harry Potterish, just a bit. Turns up with
Patton Oswalt,
Thanos' brother. Oh, was that supposed to be Patton Oswalt?
That was Patton Oswalt. Yeah, Eros.
So Thanos' brother,
also
who's Harry Styles.
Star Fox.
Right, Star Fox as well. Harry Styles turns up.
There's like 3 post-credit scenes. The first is the Eternals that stayed on Earth and are still Eternals. So Kingo, Cersei, and Phastos get kidnapped by Arishem, who's going to judge humanity based on their memories of humanity.
Oh yeah, I'd forgotten that. Yeah,
and he just kidnaps them after appearing in the
sky.
So
again, this is all set up. It's not needed for this film. It blows the film.
Yeah, then we get Harry Styles showing up as Eros/Star Fox, and then we get Kit Harington has a cursed sword, and Blade shows up in voice only.
Oh, is it Blade?
Yeah, that was Blade.
Oh, I thought that was
Mahershala Ali.
Is it Krug? Who's the one from the Loki series? The guy that can manipulate dimensions. Krug?
Oh, Kang.
Kang. Oh, I thought it was Kang, but it was Blade.
Yeah.
Blade?
Mahershala Ali. Yeah, Blade got cast a while ago. And also, apparently, the character of Dane Whitman, he's his own superhero / villain. Called the Black Knight. His whole shtick is he's got a cursed sword, and he flip-flops between good and evil because the sword influences him. But it's super powerful, and he has like a flying.
I didn't know that was Blade. That's amazing.
Yeah, Blade is the one talking to him. So.
And of course, we have got the Morbius film coming out, but that's Sony.
That's Sony. That's a separate thing. We do have a Blade series coming out. So.
Okay, well, we've had.
Wait, is it Blade series or a Blade film? I think it might be a film. It's a film. Yeah.
But there was a Blade series in the 90s, I think. Okay. Apparently. The director's version of Icarus was quite strongly influenced by Zack Snyder's Superman.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay. Right, for me, I want to see the adventures of Kingo and Gilgamesh, frankly. That's kind of what I want to see.
You just want to see those two.
Well, I don't mind Phastos either.
Yeah. Phastos was quite sweet. He had a whole family.
Interesting, but he was so intense. I'm not sure. Could do a series. I think it would be too dark in many ways, because he's always lamented, why don't you just let me take control of humans and stop. At one point he stops a massive
he stops the slaughter of the Aztecs briefly. So
can't bear it anymore, so he breaks rank for that because he's just so angry, which is why he goes off on his own to the Amazon, I think. Actually I want to see basically Gilgamesh and Kingo adventures with the valet Karen in tow, sort of assisting. I would really like to see that. I don't mind if the others are in it. I mean, Athena was pretty badass, actually. Yeah. She could just conjure up weapons and start fighting with. And in fact, she's a badass she does take out the deviant at the end. doesn't she? Even though it looks like she's lost.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was
again. That's another thing that just sort of happens in the film. Like we were talking about, me and my friend, we were watching it, and like literally, as a scene, it's like, where did the Deviants go? They were part of this. Like, and then he literally just walks up on the beach on the island that they're at, and starts like lamenting how they're forced to play their roles and stuff. It's like, okay.
It's a bit Shakespeare, that bit, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then he starts to fight her, and starts this weird, like, he starts talking in the voice of Gilgamesh, so that he can, I guess,
he's absorbed him, right? He's absorbed him. Yeah.
And so he just gets like cut to pieces completely. It's like, okay, that was eventful, I guess.
Yeah. Now, I was the one who suggested we watch this because I really didn't want to go see it, but I keep hearing little things on Facebook that, you know what, this film's better than you think. It was like, you know what, it's free, it's on Disney Plus, why not, right? That was my feeling on it, and I'm kind of pleased I watched it. I quite liked it. It was nowhere near the top of the list for MCU at all, but it's not like at the bottom for me either. But what's your thoughts?
I'd genuinely consider this one of the worst of the MCUs. It's not bad, it's just really boring and not very well written.
Yeah, I have to say the plot was the problem. I quite like the characters. I quite like some of the action scenes, and I thought the acting was just fine, and the casting was good. I thought, but there was a lot of blow. We didn't need to see certain things. Though, you know, involving extra characters in essence, it was those ones, and also some of the sort of discussions were a bit mumbly. There was that problem too, but there were some beautiful looking shots.
Yeah,
you know, some really nice. And actually, one of the reasons I didn't want to see it was from the trailer. It looked like the cast was quite poor. And I'll take that back. I don't believe that. I thought they were very solid. They did their jobs very well. So I don't particularly have a problem with this film. There are films I dislike more, for sure. You know, the usual. Iron Man 2 was a bit. Iron Man 3 maybe. Dark World 4-2 wasn't great. Things like that. But for me, but like you said it yourself, it's like one of the worst, but it's still not bad.
Yeah.
MCU have a very consistent
level of
quality, right? There's only a couple of them are real blinders, almost 10 out, but none of them are 10 out of 10s, I don't think.
Yeah, they maintain a high enough average to get by, but it's not. It's holding an average. It's not like the big spikes have really been
Spider-Man,
Infinity War,
Avengers,
Captain America, Winter Soldier, and Avengers. Yep. Those I'd considered like some of the really good ones.
And Thor Ragnarok, right? Yeah. I would agree with that. And this is nowhere near that level.
No.
It's. For me, it's like a 7 out of 10, I would say. I think that's a reasonable score for it. It didn't bore me in the way that Iron Man 2 perhaps did, say. But I kind of liked it, but it did feel a little overlong at several points. And, I mean, the end credit stuff was crazy.
Yeah, and also, God, they made a weird decision when putting this on Disney Plus to have the occasional scene be in IMAX quality, while the rest of it is in like super widescreen.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I mean, while I was watching it, I guess we'd accidentally put it onto that setting, so stuff would occasionally be letterboxed and sometimes not, and it would flicker between shots.
Yeah. This was a weird choice to put this much money in, wasn't it? To put in a comic, basically a failed franchise, right? It was not. Eternals didn't sell enough to keep going. You could probably read all the issues of the Eternals in like 3 hours. It's honestly not very long. So it's kind of a weird choice to bring out the Eternals. It's almost like they want to bring every single thing out in the MCU that's in Marvel, right? It feels like that.
Yeah, well, as far as I know, there is like a policy of trying to make the stuff in the comics more like the film. So Star-Lord used to have this weird, like, it looked like a kind of like a bucket helmet almost.
Yeah.
But that's been gotten rid of, and now he's got like a long cloak.
Okay.
Coat thing similar to the MCU. A lot of stuff has been changed to be closer to the MCU. So like bring it all.
But presumably everything in the comics isn't MCU.
MCU-ified yet. No.
Well, what's the word? MCU. No, MCU lore, if you like.
No, it's still maintaining its own thing, but it's like they're changing stuff to be closer to the MCU.
Canon is what I was trying to think of. Canon. It's not MC. A lot of that isn't MC. I mean, I'm looking forward. I mean, I want to see a Morbius film, but the one that coming probably isn't the one that I want to see. If you know what I mean. I'll tell you what. One of my favorite Marvel characters is super obscure. He has not got many stories, but the few stories I've read of him are fantastic. And he's called Gabriel Devil Hunter. He's like an ex. Like special forces exorcist priest guy. Actually, I'm not sure he is ex special forces, but he's like a beefy. He's so intense. He managed to exorcise himself of a demon. He didn't need someone to do it. He exorcised himself. That's quite. And he some of his stories are amazing, but there's some really weird stuff in Marvel. You know, there's there's a zombie called Simon Garth. There's a load of adventures like that. And Morbius, you know, the living vampire. That's weird.
It looks like he's Gabriel the Devil Hunter. It looks like he's done a fair bit with the Fantastic Four. So
yeah, those were rubbish. Those were rubbish. I've read those. Those are terrible stories.
It may have been that he was like part of the Fantastic Four, like for Fox. So that's why they're not done it. I know Kang the Conqueror was part of that buy.
Right.
And same with Galactus. So that's why they've not like didn't do any references.
Galactus is one that I would expect to appear actually.
Yeah.
But I also think they brought out a comic. They put out a TV series recently where they kind of repurposed Gabriel Devil Hunter with a different name and as a woman. And I can't remember the name of the show, but I didn't know this. I was really shocked when I found out. Let me just have a look and see if I can
Hellstrom. I've just found it.
That's it. Hellstrom, yes. But I'm probably going to watch that. I want to see what they do with Gabriel in it. But, you know, we've also got maybe the Punisher and Daredevil and, you know, we've got all that.
Apparently John Barenthal's Punisher is going to be in the MCU at some point. So
it's a shame they didn't get him in Civil War. Mind you, he wasn't around then, was he? But that would have been awesome because what we know the does in the Civil War is amazing. But I want to see more Kingo. I quite like Richard Madden as Icarus, but he was a bit too straight and a bit Homelander.
Yeah,
it's own good. So I'm not sure that'll work. Yes. So So, what would you? I mean, I said 7 out of 10 for me. What would you rate this?
I'd put this at maybe a 5.
Oh, pretty low.
Yeah.
Your minus.
Again, it's not because it's bad. It's boring, which is probably the worst sin a film could make. So.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Entertaining. Yeah. We can have bad and entertaining, right? That definitely is. Well, I kind of thought this was all right, but I could definitely see how you could get into. Yeah, this is not great. And if you don't engage early on, I think I did engage early on, so I was all right with it. Though I thought the stuff at the beginning with Kit Harington when he disappeared, it was like, well, that was pointless. Why did they even show us that stuff? Why do we care about Cersei's relationship? Because it's not developed through the film at all, is it?
Yeah, no.
At the end, maybe. So that was kind of a silly character.
They have like one flashback to like them doing a marriage ceremony, but that's it. So
yeah, there is. And you know, Harry Styles looked okay in this.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, it's going to be that weedy little bloke, but no, he's beefed up a bit, so he kind of looked the part. Yeah. It was fine. It was definitely came across way better than it did in something like Dunkirk, actually. So that was all right. Yeah. So I quite like the music. I thought it was pretty nice as well.
Sort of synthy.
Yeah, and some orchestral, right? Some orchestra. But yeah, it was okay. It was Okay.
Yeah.
All right then. Let's wind it up there. So, bye from me.
Bye.